Thank you for joining us today on 344 Live, where sometimes we just like to reconnect with old friends. Please take a moment to support the job search of Aaron Kennan. He's an experienced freelancer looking for a full-time role in digital marketing, advertising, or media. Okay, welcome to 344 Live, everybody. I've got Julie Morey here with me, and we are officially a few minutes early because why not? Because I've also noticed that LinkedIn takes a few minutes to get its act together when it comes to throwing down notifications that we're actually here. And because Restream and LinkedIn just kind of operate in their own universes, we can go live whenever we feel like it.
There you go.
Even if it's already scheduled at 3:44 p.m., I can just go early. So bam, we are early. And if anybody is going to hang out with us, then, good for them. Right. And so, Julie, let's pick up where we left off because we were hearing a little bit about, look at this. We've got Aaron and Mike Phillips and Nathan Hill all in the house. Right. Perfect.
Nathan's my favorite.
Okay. So you guys, if you're still here, if you're hanging out with us, please put some comments so that they will populate on the canvas. So the canvas doesn't look like a blank screen because that's always a bad feeling.
Well,
all right. So where were we?
We were talking about stuff and then we were like, other people should hear us talking about this stuff. So we should.
Yeah. Let's just warm up. Let's just warm up live. All right. Where were we? So you're moving across town.
I'm moving.
That's happening.
I'm moving across town, and that's been taking up a lot of my time, and keeping me busy. But I love my community here, so
Yes. So you still love us, but you're just dang busy in the real world.
So busy in the real world. Well, I was saying to you, I've got a full-time job as a school social worker, and I'm starting this newsletter on Substack for Single Moms by Choice. And still working on the TEDx and landing that and all that comes with that. So, plus raising a 5-year-old,
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like that doesn't take any time.
Minor thing.
Just and then wait until she's 14.
Let's not. Can we? Everybody wants to do this to me. Everybody wants to be like, oh, wait, tell. I'm like, no, it's already scary enough. Let's just keep where it's at.
Okay, so because I'm a parent and other parents are prone to giving advice to other parents, and then I'll stop. But I do have to say one thing.
Okay.
These next 9 years are awesome.
I know.
Okay? They're so great. This is like the best time, like that 5 to 14, 13, 14 range. And maybe you'll get lucky and maybe she'll just be, one of those kids who just smokes it and slices through life like butter. I mean, I love all my kids, but I can say that, a couple of them were that way, right? They just literally like, there's my life. It's like a stick of butter. I'm just going to slice right through that and no problem. And a couple others, it's harder for them. Right. They've been through more. And I don't know if that's COVID. I don't know if it's just whatever, but the environment's the same. And so, I just want to say, like, I loved the kids when they were slightly past assured self-destruction, right? Like, so there was some relief there. Hi, Melissa. And then like right up to their, right up to when high school started. So, that's then the shit gets real. So, anyway, but we got some time, right? So we got time. So the kids are over there. We got over there. So you're with these kids. You're like in a South Pacific sort of rattan kind of seat thing.
Yes.
Right
yeah. It's one of the many chairs in my wellness space. So I'm at work and we were talking about this earlier. I'm creating this wellness space within my school. Cause especially after COVID, like students just need space. And so I've got all kinds of little nooks and crannies and a waterfall and different things. I've been working on writing grants and getting donations to create this space for students.
Okay, so are you in a public school district or private school? Like where?
Public school.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in public school. There's 550 students at my school, and I do counseling and groups and all different. And a lot of kids just come in and hang out at breaks and things like that because they just want a space that maybe is off the playground or that feels safe, that kind of thing. So
now, what are the ages?
We've got TK all the way through 6. So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and I've always done this full time, and then everything I do on LinkedIn is extra. But when I started LinkedIn, it was the summer, so I had the summer off. So I was able to do a lot more.
Yeah. And so when you were sort of getting yourself positioned in this chair that you're in now, I noticed the space seems pretty big.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, I don't know if I can give you a tour, but it's big. It's lots of big.
Okay.
I've got.
I'll believe you there, but I won't press for privacy or whatever you got going on. That's fine. But it's a big space, because I always think of like counseling spaces as like you'd go to the high school counselor and it'd be their office, it'd be a desk, and it'd be like, not really a space to like hang out and be cool, right?
Well,
or just kind of.
Yeah, and last year I had a smaller room, and it was really hard because I mean, last year I'd have up to like 10, 15 students. I'll get during breaks and stuff, there'll be up to like 30 kids. I have like this awesome video of them all just hanging out doing different things, because I've got a calm corner, I've got a waterfall, I've got different chairs, I've got arts and crafts, I've got this chair. And it's just it's a space where students can feel like they can come and just chill, It's pretty intense in public education.
Sure.
And that's why I think we see a lot of transitioning teachers on LinkedIn, because it's hard to be a teacher. It's hard to be a student. Like, we're still figuring our educational system out. So I always have so much respect for any transitioning teacher who's looking for work, because I feel you.
Yeah. It's, it's fascinating because my son, so he's 23 and he's just finishing up his master's in education. So he's becoming a teacher.
Okay.
And his perspective is really fascinating, because it's not like this, but it's my interpretation. Okay. So take it with a gigantic grain of dad salt here. Okay. Okay. So it's like when I look at him and I'm listening to him, it's like, oh, you're not like connecting with the kids at a level of like, I'm responsible for you, or I'm otherwise like you're sort of like, oh, I don't know, like I'm your friend, or I'm your resource, or whatever. He sort of sees it like he's a scientist almost. And they're like, and so he's sort of doing stuff in the classroom, and he's kind of running experiments and trying to figure out, okay, does this work? Does that work? And not like, at least this is my observation. And I kind of, and every time I bring it up, he says, no, it's not like that at all. It's not like that. But it's still like this sense of maybe it's because he's 23 and his students are 15, right? And they're close in age. I don't quite know. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I don't see him like being personally attached to whether they decide to show up and care.
Interesting.
Right. That's like not his responsibility. His responsibility is to like create a safe environment, teach them Spanish, do his best at that. But if they don't want to, right? If they don't care, if they don't do the work, then that's not on him.
Is he teaching older students though? Like, what's his grade that he's teaching?
So he's just starting with freshmen, because in high school, right? And then hopefully he'll, as he matures and kind of gets his sea legs, he'll be he'll have the full gamut of all the kids. But and he might tell me that I'm totally off my rocker, but I just I don't know, it's just me kind of looking at him and looking in, and I don't know, I find it interesting as I look at like experiencing the same thing you do, right? Like all these transitioning teachers who are wanting to kind of get out and who are sort of burnt, and then my son who's like going in and he's excited, like he's very excited about it, and it's going pretty well for him.
Yeah, and he should be. I think teaching, at least I'm in a K through 6th grade, and so I see that there are so many expectations put onto the teachers at my school, and they do feel personally responsible for the students, but they have younger students, so I think there's a big difference there. And then within the classroom, they've got behavioral issues to deal with, and then all the other outside work that they have to do, like IEPs and 504s, and it's just there's so much expectation that's put on them that I think at some point for some people it just becomes too much.
They just can't. Yeah. And maybe my son hasn't seen that yet.
Yeah. Well, he's in an older grade too. And it depends on the school. It depends on the administration. There's so many factors.
Right.
But, I've seen a lot of teachers just really be overworked and burned out and not given the pay and the appreciation that they need. And the thing is, teachers have so many skills that when they decide to transition into something else, I did Allie Privet was someone that I featured a few weeks ago in the LinkedIn Connection. And she was a science chemistry teacher. And now she's transitioning into this adventure crafter. And she's creating trips and adventures for people. And she has an Airbnb up in Wyoming. And she's doing this incredible, it's incredible. I just did a coffee chat with her and my mouth hung open the whole time. And I was like, you are an amazing person. But she has this huge skill set that she has acquired through being a teacher that now she's using to make more money, have more adventures, potentially help more people in a different way. So we do see a lot of teachers that transition and find other jobs because they range so many skills.
That's cool. So speaking of travel,
anyways, I'm done.
Speaking of exotic travel and all of that, that is one of the components of your personal brand.
Yeah.
Have you done any since you've started your job?
Oh my gosh. So the cool thing is I have summers off. So we did a summer in Costa Rica a couple of years ago. And this summer we are doing Spain and Portugal for almost 2 months.
Nice.
I love credit card hacking. So I have all my credit card points. So I use those and I have a flight. We leave June 12th and we come back July 22nd. We are doing Spain and Portugal. Yeah.
Okay.
And
what part of Spain?
I was just planning this out. So we're going to fly into Barcelona, then we're heading to Madrid, and then Granada and Seville, and then hitting the Costa del Sol area, and then over to the Algarve in Portugal, and then up into Lisbon and over to Braga, where my sister lives. So.
Okay. All right. So you must get to know or meet Yuval Ackerman. Okay. She was a guest on the Hotness Unleasher show in March 18th. So just 9 days ago. Okay. And she has just moved to Valencia.
Oh.
So she's from Berlin and she is an ethical email marketer.
Okay.
And lovely person and just a brilliant contributor to this overall community. And she's there, and so it might be fun if you're going out, because I think Valencia is Costa del Sol, or it's out. I maybe it's south. I can't remember. I don't know all the geography, but it's kind of over in the east, and I think it's pretty hot, probably in the summer. And anyway, there's a friendly over there. I'd be happy to make an introduction or otherwise sort of facilitate that, because she's cool, and you're going to be in Spain. And I have to say. So getting back to my story, right, or the story of my son, is that so he's a Spanish teacher. So his plan is to he's also pursuing an electrician's apprenticeship.
Okay.
Because side hustles are part of sort of teacher culture, right? Yep. It's like, okay, you're a teacher, now what? Right? What else are you gonna do? Right. How are you gonna make a living? so he's apprenticing as an electrician, which means that he's got the next year to finish that while he's subbing in district, right? In the district that he wants to be in. So he's waiting to kind of get that. But assuming that doesn't come together, then he's going to go over to Spain for as long as they'll let him, basically. Probably up to a year is his plan to go over there as well, which means his mother and I invited ourselves to go over there and rent a cottage or a house or something nearby. And he looks at me, this is Christmas, and he goes, Dad, that's the opposite of what I want. So I was like, oh, dang, because they just get back to this age where you just want to be with them all the time because they're so great. But anyway, so I'm 100% envious. So you've got your tickets, you're good to go. It's all planned.
We're just planning the trip out. Yeah. And and we got some other smaller trips in the works as well. Like I earned my Southwest Companion Pass, so got some small trips planned with Amelin. So nice. And we just got back from somewhere. I can't even remember where now we traveled. San Francisco. We did a great weekend in San Francisco.
Okay, well that's easy from Sacramento though too, right? I mean, you could just.
It is. You
can just truck down there.
But I think again, back to my original idea, like single moms by choice, is again showing that you can travel, you can have these adventures, you can do these things and go places. Like, I feel like I have such an amazing life with Amelin, and she's like my adventure buddy. So, and these are some of the things I want to incorporate into the newsletter that I'm working on for other single moms, is like, hey, here's all the things you can do, you know?
So. Awesome. Well, I'm 100% envious of your trip to Spain. I got to tell you, because
I've been trying to get there for a while. I've been to 80 countries. I've had 2 trips planned to Spain that have fallen through, and I'm like, this time we're going. Yeah.
Okay, so I've been to Spain. I've been to Barcelona, and it was about 11 years ago, and I loved it. I loved it because, and so you got Pablo Picasso, right? That's where he started, right? You got Gaudi, right? So you got all that action going on. It's not just the Sagrada Familia, I think is what. So the church, right? So you got that going on, but then all that other stuff. And the thing is, it never got bombed.
Oh,
right. And I think that's lost on a lot of us. So it's like we kind of forget, like, a lot of some of these places got the crap bombed out of them, got totally wrecked. So all that medieval stuff is gone. And whereas in Barcelona, it never got bombed, and so it's all still there. And for somebody who's like from the West, where everything is just totally spread out to, like, just there's, you have to have a car because you can't physically get even across the street barely. You don't need that there, right? It's like super tight. Yeah. So that's totally rad. I would also, just because I went there, it's the only reason. If you go north a little bit up toward the French border, there's a city called Girona, which probably mispronouncing that like crazy, but it's spelled Girona, Girona. And I loved it. I love that like every bit as much as I love Barcelona. It's one of those where it has a castle, or like a wall that goes around it, and you can walk on it and stuff, and got these markets, and it's all just totally right on. Like, it's totally cool. So with that, so June, that's coming right up. Like, you're what?
Yeah.
6-7 weeks, give or take. I mean, it was my math right there. I mean, it's not far.
Yeah, well, there's only like 44 actual days of school left. So next week we have off for spring break. But yeah, that's my big move. So
man, that's rad. I love hearing that. So are you going to be reporting then, or into all of us on LinkedIn, or are you just going to be hitting it on your newsletter, or how are you going to be telling your tales of adventure?
Ooh, I you know what? I'll do some LinkedIn posts. People love travel, so
they do.
Yeah, I'll definitely.
I do.
Yeah, I'll definitely be posting some stuff and things like that. Like, I always get in my head about LinkedIn posts because I'm always like, is that interesting? Is that relevant to business? Like, should I post this? Should I not post this? And then I'm like, but at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? If you don't like it, you don't read it. And if you like it, then you read it.
My wife and I went to New York a couple weeks ago or whatever, and I just posted a bunch of travel selfies, right? I was there. I was having fun. We lived it up, and I just did it. I just posted it. And people were really cool about it. I didn't feel like there was any pushback, or nobody said, "Oh, you're wasting my time," or anything. It was like, "Hey, I'm in New York. I'm doing this thing, and it's cool. And we're just I'm gonna take a bunch of pictures of weird stuff because it's New York, and there's always weird stuff." And didn't disappoint. So yeah, I say post like a fiend.
Nathan Hill posted a couple of weeks ago about like making pancakes for breakfast, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I so identify with you," because Amal and I have a breakfast tradition. We have little heart-shaped waffle makers, and we make heart-shaped waffles on Saturday or Sunday morning on the weekend. And so I totally identified, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good thing to know." So I like seeing snapshots of what people's lives look like on LinkedIn, not just the business piece or the selling piece.
Yeah. And there's so many of us out here who are like, we have different agendas, right? So like for me, a big part of my objective, right, is to like if you want to talk about like layers of the onion strategy for Trevor, it's to humanize the sales profession. Okay, because I am a professional seller.
Can you make a tagline? I feel like that would be humanizing the sales profession. Like, that should be your LinkedIn header right there.
See, there you go. I'm glad we had this talk, because the last time we talked, it was like, get that Chief Hotness Unleasher back up.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the best. Well, I love you, Julie. So, but yeah, it's humanized the sales profession, because I think that people come in and they're like, oh, you're a seller. I know the story. You're working an angle, right? You're working some angle. You're just trying to hustle me for $1 or $2 or whatever, right? And I'm like, no, not really, because I've really only got like 100 people on Earth that I can sell to. And so, Julie, I'm sorry, but you're not among them. Nor is Melissa Houston, nor is Nathan Hill, nor is Amber Williams, who's here in the audience, right? So, no, but I can just be here, and I can say, yeah, this is how sales is done. This is what I do. This is how it works. Da da da, and represent the profession in a way that is not so, hopefully not so gross. It's more authentic. It's more like, yeah, I got a life. I got kids. I got, trying to do the right thing and solve problems for people. So anyway, I don't know where I went off tangentially on that. But so let's talk about the Hotness Unleasher show, because you are the first Hotness Unleasher.
Yes. And actually, I was just asking this. I was going to circle back to that, because you were saying now you're doing it once a month, which I think is huge. That's what I did. I've done with a LinkedIn connection too. I've moved it down to once a month, because once a week was just too much. So I love how you reevaluate them and like, this is what works.
Yeah, and it does work. So today, it was Hotness Unleasher recruitment for the next episode day, because I had done some of that early. I had done it like, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I got some people who came in, but it was too far away, and it was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do it in April. And now they're like, no, I don't want to, or I don't have time, or whatever. But I was then able to spend, not really, it was just a few DMs to a few people. And now I'm full, right? So I have 8 guests. And so it's basically a hybrid of the season 1, which was a lot of me talking, and not as many people being announced. And so now it's like saying, okay, these 8 people who show up, they're my Hotness Unleashers. So I'm just going to zip it, and I'm going to be the host. And so my job is to manage the show. And everybody gets 4 people, and they get 90 seconds per person. And we rip through 32 people really fast. And I think it's a better show. I think it's a better show this year, or this season, than it was in the fall. And it's really that a mashup of all the fun that we had legitimately on the finale, but in the end was total chaos. Like it was like there was so many people. Like, how many people can I get in 1 minute? Right. And I tried to break them down. Like I couldn't even figure out who they were, and some of them they didn't know. Like they didn't connect with it. So I was like, okay, mega energy, mega celebration, mega party vibe. That was cool. But the Hotness Unleashers didn't, really they didn't feel the love. And so slowing it down a smidge, but still trying to maintain like a big panel is where I've landed. Yeah. And it's fun. And I just love, I love the tension of, is the first Hotness Unleasher, is that Red Stafstrom? Is that Stevening? Is that Kate Smoothie? No, it's Julie, because it's Julie because we did that very, very first live. Now, had you ever done a live before that time we met? Okay.
Never done a live. I got off that thing and I was like, that was intense. Like I needed
I know. Well, you get used to it after a while
too. Like it was, I got off that and I was like, wow, that was awesome. So, and I mean, I would be, if you ever are in need of guests for the Hotness Unleasher show, I'm always down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we might have to have a reunion or something, because I have like drawn this line of saying like, okay, if you were a guest on season 1, then sorry, you don't get to be a guest again. That's the rule. Unless you were just in the finale, then you can be a guest. But that has worked. Like, but hey,
right in that like beginning, it's a little bit of a gray area. But I love your idea for a reunion show. That would be stellar. Yeah,
that would be stellar. I should just do it. Maybe I'll do a finale of the season 2, and we'll just invite anybody who can come, and that could be fun.
Yeah.
Be substantially larger. We're up to almost like 400 people who have been, yanked into this thing. And some of them not really very happy about it because, not everybody really gets it either. They're like, what is that? I don't want to find out. Right. Just, I'm not part of that. I don't care. But legitimately, like it's almost that many. And that seems like a lot to me. I mean, that's like more people than I can know or hang out with. Right. And so, I feel good about that. And then that coordination DM that is still viable, right?
Nice.
Like it's still running. And because I've been in a few of these, DM rooms, and they kind of fizzle out after a while, right? And I don't know. I think it's cool that one's still alive. It still gets some action. So
still going, still checking on each other. Like, we were checking in on Anna Duncan, who officially has gone into hibernation. She told me, but she'll be back. So that's cool.
I am so thrilled that you got a hold of her, because I just,
well, she's one of the people I genuinely became friends with. So we have each other's numbers and Facebook and stuff. And so she's like, I'll be back. I just taken some time. And I was like, I hear you. So no, I think what you've done with the Hotness Unleasher show is amazing. Like, and again, I think back to that first summer when we were all getting started, and when I was the first Hotness Unleasher, and now look where we're at. Like, it's pretty cool.
It is fun, isn't it? And I think it's a testament to community, right? It was a testament, like just to, like I was so hungry to do something, right? I just had this like burning fire to create anything. I had to create something. And so that was energy that was happening. That was real for me. And then there was just all this like willingness, which I personally hadn't really experienced very much, right? They're like things that I generally create, I just like sort of lukewarm, and if that. And so to have a response of people really wanting to participate and show up and otherwise have fun with it was really exciting. And so I just kind of had to like, okay, this is an idea. How do you just sort of like not ego out on it, right? And didn't want that. But because I really think that if Nathan and Sam and Amber and Susanna and Nadine and Adam hadn't shown up and done the fireside storyteller thing, I don't know if I would have like gotten back into it, right? I think I might have just kind of let it sort of fizzle down. And then even still, it was like, I was kind of burning out. But then whatever it was 10 days ago, there was a real palpable energy, like a whole bunch of new people came in and they were like totally stoked. So I was like, okay, we're just going to try to keep up with this. It's like, that image of the, like, the sled dogs or something, or the sled dogs are running and the poor guy is like, his feet are like up in the air and he's just trying to hold on for dear life. Sometimes that's how it feels. But my point is that I think it's community.
Yes.
Right. It's like at some point, it just is a thing. Like everybody was into it, right? And they showed up and they really wanted that kind of a connection. They wanted that sort of space to be and to hang out. And I love it. It's just been a thrill. So maybe I'll just keep cruising. Like I'm trying to think. So you can actually help me with this. So because it's monthly. So by the time we get to August, again, you'll be back, right? You'll be back and you'll be getting probably ready for school, because school starts early in California.
It does, and it starts especially early for me because I start even early with the teachers. Okay.
So because I'm thinking, so it'll be February, March, April, May, June, July. So that'd be 6 episodes. So if we did the August episode, that'd be like a natural kind of break, right? Like because you wouldn't have a season anything less than 6 episodes, but you could say, because that happens. So then we could say, okay, the finale is going to be the August, like an August reunion of all Unleashers, and we're just going to max out a big gigantic Zoom call.
I love it. I think that would be awesome. I mean, the last one was so much fun. So
it was fun. Yeah, but we're like massively larger now. It's when you grow at 30 at a rate of 32 plus 40 people a month.
Yeah.
It really kicks up a notch. So
it's awesome though. Yeah, I know it is. And I hear what you're saying. Like, that's the same thing with like the LinkedIn connection too. I was like, when I first started on here, I was like, I'm meeting so many incredible people. I want to feature them. I want other people to know about them, you know? And that's the only thing with posting less. When I post on Fridays, when I do the LinkedIn connection, it doesn't get as much reach, which is disappointing because the people I feature are incredible. I've got Philomena coming up, so she's going to be next. Wow, if I pronounced her name right. But yeah,
well, we'll forgive you.
Did I pronounce it wrong?
I have no idea. I mean, whatever I pronounce Girona. So we'll just go with that.
Anyway,
it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, she's so involved on LinkedIn, so I've got her all set to go. I think it should be this Friday, so it's going to be awesome. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, Julie. Well, we're 7 minutes over now, and I know that Nathan, he's got kids that he's taking care of, and these are, this is my crew out here, right? So I'm going to say thanks for everybody for coming. It's been a fun episode for me, just to kind of take it down a notch and just let this kind of be a little bit unstructured. So Julie, don't run away. I'm going to do my count up timer, and we're going to call it a day. All right, everybody, have a great night. Take care.